let's talk about this Dreadnaught reveal. What did you guys think? It was pretty cool, right?
I was excited to see them starting to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've known that the Dreadnaught is a thing, that it's Oryx's ship, that he's coming, and that's where all of the new content, or most of the new content, is going to be. But we got to take a peek inside at the concept art and some of the actual level design that they have going on.
Yeah, it was
Quick recap, right? This is a floating fortress in the sky for Oryx, who is Crota's father, and this is where the raid's going to take place. And it's going to be big, and I think we're going to talk about it.
But according to this Bungie update, not just the raid, right? All kinds of new things.
Yeah.
Patrols, like new bounties, hidden bosses, hidden treasure, a lot of exploration and platforming and puzzling going on in there. Seems like it's going to be really interesting.
Well, when they were creating it, Luke Smith challenged them to create an inscrutable loot-filled fortress. So that was their design direction early on, and they said, we've created a suite of new mechanics and woven them into the patrol mode. Every week, every day even, it will draw you back to fight through its depths for loot and glory. Expect to find new bounties, patrol missions, and public events, both large and small, some of which you can even instigate yourself if you can discover how.
Yeah, so it's interesting. They've obviously put a ton of thought into making this. Yeah, no, kind of like you were getting at, Sean. It's not like you just show up with 6 people, you do the raid, you figure it out in a week, which is kind of what happened before, and we waited for hard mode of Crota's End. But this sounds very intricate. The Vault seemed to hint at that. Like, they thought about a lot of things, but it hasn't really. Like, you go to places and then there's just nothing to do there, but you're like, I found it.
Yeah.
But this sounds like, I found it. There's a chest here, right? Or this puzzle thing, or I don't know.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like, I mean, based on the concept art and a lot of the stuff that we've seen so far of the interior, it looks like a very complex sort of maze-like structure where I have this feeling where you're going to be walking around or walking across a platform with your 5 fellow Fireteam members in a raid of 6. Hopefully it's more or less. Who knows what it's going to be. But you'll spot off in the distance like a boss, and you'll have no idea how to get over there. And you'll have to explore way more and figure out how to make your way over there.
You think you'll see a boss in the
I
distance?
think so, yeah. I think you'll see a ton of that stuff.
We kind of saw that where there was a big chasm and there was a bunch of enemies doing something in the distance. Maybe
or
you're
like
right.
There is a screenshot back in the day where it's like there's enemies all on this platform outside a kind of Crota-esque looking door.
Yeah.
But you're divided by this chasm.
That's what I just said.
And it's like, no, but I mean, like,
I think we're talking about the same scene. It was in the trailer that we rewound.
it may be,
remember?
yeah. And it's just like, I think you're going to have a sense of like, okay, well, there's something going on over here, but from where we're currently standing, there's no way to get over there.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to find a way, and it may come way later in the raid, which means you have to do a lot more exploring.
That's exciting.
I think that's going to be cool.
I don't want to get my hopes up too much, right? Because I hoped with Prison of Elders, I talked about this a lot, like I'm a big Nintendo fan, and like, oh, the bosses are going to be intricate, and they're going to have these cool things, like take off his
Then there's just bullet
arm
sponges.
first, and then they're bullet sponges, and like it's, you know, Prison kind of ran its course, and now with this, I'm getting excited. Like, this sounds a little like Zelda or Metroid or whatever, and it's like, oh, you see something and figure out how to get there.
Good point, Fran. Manage expectations.
Well, yeah, but
It's going to be all right.
He's right.
But that being said, we don't. This is what we want, right? That feeling that we can do what they're talking about. Like, we're not just gonna go in and by week 2, it's like, I figured it out. Here's how you do it. That being said, you know, the millions of players are kind of crazy and they figure stuff out fast.
Totally. And I think Bungie knows that.
They
and
do,
that's kind of why, like, based on. You're right. This is all speculation, but based on what we've seen in the screenshots and the concept art and in the trailers, and in combination with what they've said, it's not the biggest logical leap to think that that may be a part of it, like this exploration factor.
Yeah.
Well, here's what they said. The Dreadnaught has its secrets. You'll need to return again and again to solve them all and acquire the rewards we created for doing so. There are hidden treasures and bosses waiting to be found, and it won't be apparent how to access them the first time you go exploring. We've laid out a lot of breadcrumb trails though, as you fight your way through the ship. So follow the clues you're given, face the challenges you find, and earn that sweet loot.
You hungry, Destin?
I just like reading. I like reading.
Breadcrumbs made you give pause.
I am kind of hungry. Yeah, breadcrumbs. Oh, God, I'm so hungry. I need food.
But no, right? They are really saying, like, you're going to have to hunt through this. And really, this is what I was trying to just get at, right, was that Vault, hinted at, there's all this space, and wouldn't it be cool if, and we actually thought, and we still think there's that secret, platform or
way
chest.
out there. Right
I don't know
before.
if it exists today. Who knows? Maybe they'll add that. But for this, and they've had a year to figure it out. It does sound like they've maybe done what they set out to do with the Vault, let's say, right? This highly intricate kind of castle in the sky. I hope that's what it is. And in other words, Crota's End was fun. I like some of the mechanics, but it was literally 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's too
4,
short.
Basically, there were
Yeah.
4 things to do. You ran through it, and then that was it. This sounds like a place to explore.
They're building
I'm really excited about that, but I do believe it's a place to explore. I mean, again, looking at Vault versus Crota's End, that tells you the difference of how they can build these things.
It's like the Cosmodrome. It's like Earth.
I don't
So,
know.
yeah.
Will it be that big? Like,
I'm
that would
hoping.
be.
I think so.
Like,
It's
I
like
have
its whole
this-
new area.
I have this
managing
sense like
expectations.
and you're right too, because that would suck to like think it's gonna do all these really cool things and then it's basically the size
So
one of the
yeah,
size of the
no,
zones of
Fran's
Earth.
right, because I've gotten super excited about everything and then been like, oh. But
So-
the point is, Bungie's super excited, and they're trying to tell us why they're excited about revealing this to us, because they think we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's actually a
know.
great segue maybe in
Yeah.
the last point here, right?
Okay.
They say, we play a lot of Destiny around here. As a result, we're always designing new ways to challenge players. With Oryx's behemoth ship, so it's behemoth.
It's large.
something.
That means big.
That means big.
Yeah.
You'll likely find more challenging public events than anything else you've attempted before on Patrol. How to succeed won't be obvious at first, but the rewards will be worth your effort. Get ready to fight bosses and encounters in surprising combinations of circumstances. And look to your fellow Guardians for help. Patrol is no longer an easy mode. And then they talk about how they're going to like show this on Twitch at some point. And IGN, I hope. Bungie.
Yeah. Come
Good.
on.
Public events are way too easy
Yeah, but
I like-
that's interesting. Like,
and not rewarding.
I really like that it's not just going to be an easy boss fight, like, oh, a public event's going down, shoot him in the legs. There's going to be a puzzle element of some sort. So maybe you're going to have to activate some things to
I
take
hope
this
so.
guy down.
They don't really, you don't know
That's
that.
what they make it sound like, and
Yeah.
that's kind of exciting because a lot of times it's just, oh, hey, a bullet sponge appeared.
Well,
Oh, hey, there's 3 ships coming in.
Yeah, and to your point, they say how to succeed won't be obvious at
Yeah.
first. So that is interesting that you're like, you know what, I
There's a
don't know
puzzling
what to do.
element
Let's
to
come
it.
back later.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
If they achieve that, that will be really exciting. And the game needs that right now. Prison of Elders, we ran through that really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Feels like this is what we're waiting for. New subclasses, a huge castle in the sky with puzzles and bosses in the
Dreadnought.
distance. And,
Dreadnought in the sky.
yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. I like to call it a castle in the sky.
I mean, it is basically right.
Yeah. We actually have a bunch of concept art here that I was supposed to be going through, but we have some of the new character designs and outfits. Here is the Dreadnought concept art A, and then this is in game.
No, that's still
That's
concept.
the concept art.
Oh, sorry. These are just random concept art,
Yep.
and then here's in
That's
game.
in game.
Yeah. Pretty faithful to the original design. Looking at it, and moving on, we have a few other pieces of art here.
Yeah, those are big spaces in
Yeah.
concept, right?
This one, I was always really excited by the concept art, and then seeing it in action. This is where it looks like the raid might take place because you're gonna jump across the objects, I'll call them, in the distance. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in here, a lot of texture, and it's more than just. Well, what I like that they talk about is they call it this ethereal space. So it's very, you're not sure what's around the next corner, and there's a big space, and then suddenly it's claustrophobic.
tight corners,
and you're going to go through these
corridors.
tunnels, which we know on the moon is very common, right? With these temples underground. I think they're going to take a lot of inspiration from, the moon stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But I like that it's going to open into these huge spaces.
So, Fran, you and I actually played a section of the new story that looked similar to this, where you're encountering some Cabal who are getting the heck out of there or dying, basically, right in front of you. And the way that they're delivering the narrative is a lot more engaging. Characters are flying in a ship next to you. They're like, hey, go get them, Guardians, and kind of bantering back and forth. And then you kind of continue into the Dreadnought or whatever ship that we were heading towards at that moment. And if they craft the narrative more like that, it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, wasn't that on Mercury or wasn't it not? It wasn't on the Dreadnought that we played. I'm trying to remember.
Thought it was.
If it's the bit that they showed in the Vidoc,
It was
it seems
Taken
like it's
King
the moon.
content.
But the point is,
So,
you were you weren't inside a ship. Was the point? You were kind of on the edge of the base.
A rock.
It was.
Yeah.
It was actually. It seemed to be like an old Cabal base, and now I'm just forgetting. But the point is, they're telling a lot more story there. That's true. But what I was going to say is that in
yeah, we got you stumped.
Mind, like,
Fran really liked it. He was so excited.
it's been a really long week here at
dark
IGN.
below.
So
Yeah. Did we mention we're going to Germany?
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say in House of Wolves that they got these story elements in there. Yeah, House of Wolves was escaping me for some reason. They had
Kind
those
of.
story elements, But then that was it, right? And I
Yeah.
do think it'll be similar here, but they have talked a lot about wanting more cutscene stuff.
That is my worry, is like the narrative has never, I mean, at no point in this game has the narrative ever been deep or really all that engrossing. And I have a worry that it's not going to be that engrossing in the Taken King either. Although the size and scope of it all makes me hope that it is. Because with House of Wolves, you did, what was it, 6 maybe story missions? And all I remember is that there's this Kel, and he betrayed all the other Kels and is trying to like turn their houses, failing, and then you kill him.
Yeah.
Except you don't really kill him, you capture him, and then you face him in Prison of Elders 35,
Yeah.
in which you really kill him.
Mhm.
That's about the amount of story that I wanted. Like, when I want, and I've said this so many times, but what I want from Bungie's story when it comes to Destiny is like the big questions answered, right? Or at least hinted at, or some story there. Like, what is the Traveler? Where did it come from? What happened during the collapse? Like, are Guardians humans? Or are we a different race? Where are all the other humans? Like, why? What are the Awoken? How come they're a different? Are they human? Are they different race now? Like, what is going on with all this stuff? Why is all this alien interest in our particular solar system?
Were they communists? Old Russia joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think
There's
we're
a
gonna? I
ton
don't think we're gonna get any of that in Taken King.
I do think we're gonna get a little more of that, right? Like I did
Let's
think
hope.
Eris and Crota and a little bit of that in Dark Below, right? We got a little more of what was going on. And then with this especially, I mean, this story of revenge, you know, the father coming to get revenge for killing his son. Eris is still in the mix.
Yeah.
And
Petrovenge.
now you've got Petra, and you've got a lot going
doesn't
on.
doesn't that seem so petty to you? Like that this crazy omnipotent alien god would be like,
Petty?
These humans, I'm gonna go stomp their faces because they killed one of my probably hundreds of sons. Like,
Let's assume it was his only son. Maybe procreation is very difficult for these races.
I don't know. It just seems like
Are you
not
saying
becoming
you have a lot
of
of children that you care about them less, Destin? I love that's the
I
best part
didn't
of this.
say that at
You
all.
were
Sean
implying-
did.
I said that if he's this ancient alien warlord god, it
Oryx
seems like he'd
has
probably
feelings.
have more important things to do than come to Earth and deal with a bunch of,
But you're right. The point is they're trying to push out the Guardians and the light, right? They're on the other side.
So
They're not,
so
they're
af-
not on the
Yeah,
good
so
side.
that would
After
be
we
great.
kill the dad, is the mom gonna show up and be
So,
like,
like,
"You killed my husband and my kid"?
Maybe that would be cool if the reason he's coming here isn't to like just take revenge, but we think that that's what he's here for. But really, he's here to like finish off the Traveler, right? Because that's his ancient nemesis
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
I think.
like,
Well, I mean, I think the core that now he's just really pissed that he's gonna come, to finish the job or whatever, because he sent his son to do it. But the revenge is the first part of it, and
Yeah.
what he's really there, obviously, to do. Yeah, I mean, he's got all this army now that he's, possessed.
Yeah.
All these creatures and is taking on this new army. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more to it. But that being said, right, this is a 10-year game. I wouldn't expect to get all those answers that you talked about.
We should move on to